afternoon comes today from the Concert Hall Broadcasting House. Ken Sikora introduces the program before an invited audience, so join us in our first carol, Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Well, now we're going to have some music from a section of the Temple Church Choir, the boys. And the carol is called The Angels from the Realms of Glory. The boys of the Temple Church Choir, and I've come down to the front of the stage here, and gathering around me are three of the members of the choir, and also I'm hoping that the organist and choir master, Dr. Thalben-Ball, is coming over to talk to me, because I'd like to know a little bit more about the Temple Church, because I believe that this is a very unusual church. Isn't that so, Dr. Thalben-Ball?
A musical church.
An unusual church.
Unusual?
Unusual.
Oh, indeed it is. I'm not in the middle, am I? That's better. Well, it was founded by people called the Knights Templars and given over some 1,000 years ago to the lawyers. The choir was really formed in about 1842, and two very good organists called Dr. Edward Hopkins and Sir Walter Davies brought music to quite a high level of efficiency.
And the church itself was bombed during the war, because it's in the heart of the city, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it was burnt out. There was one very interesting story, which I think is rather poignant, and that is services never ceased. After the church had been burnt, members of the choir said, "We'll continue services. Will you all turn up every Sunday?" And they did. And the choir themselves continued every Sunday during the war, so services virtually never ceased at all.
That's marvelous. Now, just behind you is somebody, I think, who's been with the choir a very long time, and who, in fact, is a name well known, pardon me, on the BBC. George Dixon, who, how long have you been with the choir, George?
Oh, since 1913. My arithmetic is not good, but it sounds like 56 years.
Yes, that's right, yes. 56 years. You joined the choir as a boy?
Yes.
But you've been with the BBC for many years since.
1927 I joined the BBC.
Yes, as?
Well, in school broadcasting,
Yes.
when there were just two of us.
But I think the voice that we know as George Dixon is one that comes on, well, usually just after lunch, isn't it?
Listen with Mother.
Yes.
You're going to make my wife very angry.
But
Because the only publicity I've ever got through the BBC is Listen with Mother, and I've done a lot of other things, and she says people ought to know.
well, tell them now.
Oh, there's nothing really to tell.
But listen with Mother, you claim you're not really a solo singer, although you've sung with the choir for 56 years. But you like singing to children, do you?
Oh, I love it. To my grandchildren, especially. Yes, it's... one doesn't have to be a soloist, have a big voice and things like that to sing to children. You've got to imagine all the time you've got a child on your knee and you're singing to him or her. That's all.
Your family's been connected with this choir for longer than 56 years.
70 years. 5 brothers before me in the choir.
Well, there's somebody also I met in the choir who told me that ever since they've known the Temple Church Choir, there have been Dixons in it, which sounds as if it's true.
Yes.
And I'd like you to meet him, because this, again, is something that you may not know. But if you remember, a long time ago, there was a marvelous record of a boy soprano, "Oh, for the Wings of a Dove." And that boy soprano was Ernest Luff. Well, Ernest Luff is still a member of this Temple Church Choir, and he's here.
Well, yeah.
Do people still love that record of yours?
They won't let me grow up, will they?
No. Do you get asked about it a lot?
Oh, yes, I'm still a little boy. Master, you see.
But you've been with the choir ever since you made that. When was that record made, by the way?
1924.
He said 1924.
Yes.
Oh, really? That's
A long time ago. But I grew up in the end.
But your family has joined the choir and stayed with it since then,
Yes,
hasn't it?
2 boys, Robin and Graham. They both with Doctor, the great maestro. And like me, they were trained by him. So whatever we did is his fault.
And are they still with the choir?
No, Robin's now with that organization called the BBC. And Graham is still at school. But he's, 17? Robin is 22.
Well, thank you very much. Can we talk to one
With
of
this
the...
baby.
Well, baby. This is one of the boys. In fact, this is Alex. Alex, who is the head boy, I think, of the choir. Would you like to come in front here? Do you belong to a choir school to be a member of the Temple Church Choir?
Well, it's not exactly a choir school, but all the boys in the choir are awarded a scholarship to the City of London School.
So you go to the City of London School. Do you get time off to practice for the choir?
No, we have a practice on Monday and Tuesday after school for an hour, and on Friday for 3 hours. Well, it's not quite that because we have tea as well. And then we have the one service on Sunday, but we don't have any time off school.
So you work pretty hard. You enjoy it, though?
All in all, yes, it can be a bit taxing with homework. You do get a lot of homework, but it's all right. You can manage.
Oh, that's so as your master's heard that. It was very honest of you. Now, how many boys are there with you in the choir?
There are 16 who actually stand in the stalls and sing on the Sunday, but there are about 5 other ones. They're very young. They come into the choir more or less novices, and then they learn their job. They take the collection.
Well, we're not going to take a collection today, but would you like to tell us what this next carol is going to be?
Well, it's called A Shoot on Jesse's Tree.
Right, thank you. Well, Alex is now back in his place, and Dr. Thalben-Ball is going to conduct the choir. Well, thanks to Margot Henderson. That's one way of having lots of guests at your party, isn't it? And of course, I must thank our other guests here. It's been a great pleasure to have Moira Lister, Baroness Stocks, Sir Ted Leather, our old friend Steve Race, and our smiling audience here yourselves. Also, of course, Dr. Thalben-Ball and the Temple Church Choir, who are going to lead us out on this last carol. As soon as I've mentioned that tomorrow's edition of Home This Afternoon will come from Wales, with Harry Sohn as your host. So, if everyone's ready to join in this carol, I'll say cheerio, and George Dixon will conduct us on our way.